Welcome back to the channel, coins buyers, coin enthusiasts and curious collectors, to another fascinating deep dive into the world of rare and valuable coins. Today we're exploring an extraordinary piece of American currency that's turning heads in the numismatic world, the 1993 United States 1-cent penny. A coin you might mistake for ordinary pocket change at first glance, but one that has sold for an astonishing $66,000 due to a combination of remarkable mint errors, design anomalies, and the sheer rarity of its flawed production. So buckle in and get ready as we uncover how a humble 1-cent coin could be worth thousands of times more than its face value, and why collectors and experts alike are keeping their eyes peeled for this copper-coated treasure. Beginning with its intriguing origins, struck in Denver in 1993. This penny came off the presses during a time when the United States Mint had largely perfected its modern coin production process, with fewer errors escaping into circulation compared to earlier decades, which makes it all the more incredible that this particular coin not only contains striking anomalies but does so in a way that drastically enhances its desirability and financial value. Among the most significant contributors to the sky-high valuation of the 1993 penny are a series of errors and rare misprints, with the most celebrated examples featuring double dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or even incorrect metal compositions, each of which can make a single coin stand out dramatically from the millions of standard issues produced that same year. And what makes these errors even more compelling is that they are not immediately obvious to the untrained eye, requiring collectors to look closely at features such as the date, mint mark, Lincoln's profile, and inscriptions like "In God We Trust" and "Liberty," where doubling or distortions might appear. Take for instance the infamous double die error, in which design elements on the coin appear to have a ghost-like duplicate due to a misalignment during the hubbing process, resulting in eerie visual effects that make each affected coin a true one-of-a-kind artifact, or the more visually dramatic off-center strike, which can leave part of the coin blank while compressing the image on the rest of the surface, creating a wildly off-balance appearance that instantly signals rarity and desirability, especially when a date and mint mark are still clearly visible. Another rare but highly valuable error is the clipped planchet, where the coin's edge is visibly bitten or sliced off in a crescent or curved chunk due to a misfeed during the blank cutting process, and these mistakes are often preserved throughout the minting process without being caught, ending up in circulation where eagle-eyed collectors may stumble upon them by chance. And then there are the more elusive and mysterious composition errors, which occur when a penny is mistakenly struck on a planchet intended for a different denomination or year, resulting in unusual weights, metallic hues, and electromagnetic properties, such as a 1993 penny struck on a copper planchet leftover from the pre-1982 era when pennies were made of 95% copper instead of the post-1982 zinc core with copper plating. These rare cases of transitional planchet errors can make a coin extremely rare, especially if it combines with a misprint or other visual error, creating the perfect storm of numismatic intrigue and skyrocketing market value. Indeed, it is this unique mix of characteristics that led to one specimen of the 1993 penny selling for over $66,000 at auction, a record that has since made waves across coin collecting forums and marketplaces, as the coin in question displayed a near-pristine example of a double die obverse along with a partial brokerage and unusual luster caused by striking on a slightly off-metal planchet, leading to intense bidding and a final hammer price that stunned even seasoned collectors. And while such an outcome is rare, the existence of even one such coin proves that incredible finds remain out there in circulation, tucked in jars, drawers, and coin rolls waiting to be discovered by those with patience and a sharp eye. What's more, the Denver mint mark, represented by the letter DETH on the coin, itself has been subject to fascination, as in certain error coins, the mint mark may appear to be repunched, a phenomenon known as RPM or repunched mint mark, where the letter was impressed more than once at slightly different angles, creating a ghosting or shadow effect that sets it apart from standard issues and adds layers of intrigue and value, especially when combined with other minting anomalies. And although the 1993 penny had a mintage in the billions, the number of coins that left the Denver mint with these rare and high-grade errors is vanishingly small, which means the odds of finding one are slim but not impossible, just enough to keep the dreams of treasure hunting alive among coin roll hunters and collectors alike. And when such a coin is found in uncirculated or near mint condition, it not only becomes a marvel of minting history but also an investment-grade asset with real financial potential, making it a coin that straddles the line between historical artifact and economic opportunity. And it is these factors, the combination of human error, mechanical malfunction, historical context, scarcity, and condition that all play a role in the astronomical price assigned to some examples of the 1993 D penny. And as interest in numismatics continues to grow thanks to online communities, auction platforms, and educational videos like this one, more people are waking up to the idea that rare coins aren't just museum pieces but could be hiding in plain sight, perhaps even in your change from the grocery store or among the forgotten coins in an old piggy bank. And that's what makes this story so compelling, the possibility that the next big discovery is still out there, that among the billions of nearly identical coins there exists a handful with just enough wrong about them to make them incredibly right for collectors. And so if you're inspired to start your own search, now is the perfect time to learn how to identify error coins, study known examples, invest in a magnifying glass or digital microscope, and maybe even submit your most interesting finds to professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, where experts can authenticate and assign values to coins based on a strict set of criteria including strike, luster, surface preservation, and of course, any unusual characteristics that deviate from the mint standard output. And while not every 1993 D penny will be a jackpot, the thrill of the hunt is part of the appeal, as every coin examined becomes a lesson in history, metallurgy, and probability, and over time, collectors gain the skills to distinguish between common minor die chips and truly significant errors that drive premiums at auctions and private sales alike. So whether you're a seasoned numismatist or just someone with a curiosity for the hidden value of everyday objects, the story of the 1993 D 1-cent penny reminds us all that sometimes the most extraordinary treasures come in the smallest, most unassuming packages. And with the right mix of luck, knowledge, and attention to detail, you might just be the next person to discover a coin worth tens of thousands of dollars. And that's what makes this field so endlessly fascinating, because when history, economy, craftsmanship, and chance all come together in a single copper coin, the result is more than just money. It's a story, an artifact, and a connection to the broader tapestry of American culture. And who knows, maybe the next 1993 D-era penny worth $66,000 is sitting in your coin jar right now, just waiting to be found. Today, we dive deep into the story of the 1996 United States 1-cent penny, a coin that, at face value, is worth just a single cent, but due to some intriguing minting errors and unique characteristics, has been known to fetch upwards of $48 in the collector's market. Yes, you heard that right, a tiny copper-colored penny from 1996, worth less than a stick of gum, has stunned collectors and numismatic experts by commanding prices that rival luxury items, and it's all thanks to a combination of rare minting mistakes, overlooked details, and highly prized die varieties that make it extraordinarily valuable to those who know what to look for. So sit tight and pay close attention, because we're about to uncover the incredible secrets that have turned an everyday pocket coin into a numismatic jackpot. To begin with, let's understand the context in which the 1996 penny was minted. By 1996, the United States Mint was producing billions of pennies annually using zinc cores coated in copper. These modern Lincoln cents still bore the image of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, designs introduced in 1909 and 1959 respectively. However, due to the enormous volume of coins being struck, it's not unusual for occasional mistakes to slip through the rigorous quality control systems at the mint. When such mistakes occur and are preserved on coins that make it into circulation, they can create fascinating and valuable anomalies for collectors. One of the most significant contributing factors to the value of the rare 1996 penny lies in its mint mark anomalies. The mint mark, typically a small D or P indicating whether the coin was minted in Denver or Philadelphia, can sometimes be misstruck, missing entirely, doubled, or placed in an incorrect position on the coin. In rare 1996 pennies, there have been reports of doubled mint marks where the D appears slightly offset and shadowed, an error known as a double die which collectors highly prize. Additionally, there have been cases of a missing mint mark altogether, particularly on coins that should have won, raising eyebrows and values in collector circles. Beyond the mint mark, another fascinating error that drives the 1996 penny's worth sky high is the presence of double die obverse or reverse errors. This occurs during the minting process when the coin die receives multiple misaligned impressions, leading to a doubling of design elements. On some of these rare pennies, collectors have discovered that Lincoln's profile shows slight yet noticeable doubling, particularly around the eyes, nose, and jawline. On the reverse, the words 1 cent or United States of America may appear doubled or slightly blurred, giving a ghost-like effect. These doubling errors aren't visible to the naked eye at a quick glance, but with a magnifying glass or microscope, their presence becomes clear and valuable. In some of the rarest examples, this doubling is strong and well-centered, increasing the desirability of the coin significantly. Another reason the 1996 penny has reached astonishing values is due to off-center strikes and misaligned dies. Off-center errors occur when the coin blank is not properly seated in the coining press, causing the resulting strike to be shifted away from the center. Depending on the degree of the off-center strike, 5%, 15%, 50%, or even more, these errors can range from mildly interesting to incredibly rare. Coins that are struck 50% off-center and still show a visible date are extremely desirable because they combine both error rarity and identifiable chronology. Misaligned dies, while a slightly different error, can create a similar effect where one side of the coin is shifted in relation to the other, producing a shadow or shifted appearance that sets it apart from regular issues. These striking errors, especially in a relatively recent coin like the 1996 penny, are uncommon and can bring significant premiums. Then there are the rare instances of wrong planchet errors, where a coin is mistakenly struck on a blank meant for another denomination. Imagine a penny struck on a dime planchet, smaller, thinner, and composed of a different metal composition. Such errors result in coins that are underweight, have incomplete design elements, or may appear silver-colored instead of copper. These anomalies are exceptionally rare but have been verified in various years of penny production, including possible 1996 examples. Their scarcity and novelty make them highly desirable among collectors and auction houses, sometimes pushing values into the tens of thousands. Die cracks, die breaks, and cuds are additional minting flaws that have propelled some 1996 pennies into the elite price range. These occur when the coin die becomes damaged or fractured and continues to strike coins before being replaced. The result is a raised, irregular line or blob on the coin, representing a piece of the die that has failed. Larger die breaks, particularly those known as cuds, where part of the design is obscured by a raised area of unstruck metal, are especially valuable. They are like fingerprints of the failing mint machinery and make each coin with such an error completely unique. When such a coin is from a modern year like 1996, it's even more unusual, which adds to its allure and market value. Now, let's talk about transitional errors and composition mismatches, which are among the rarest and most intriguing errors. A transitional error occurs when a coin is struck using specifications from a previous or future year, such as using an old die with a new planchet or vice versa. While most known transitional errors occurred in other years like 1982 or 1983, there have been whispers and reports within collector forums and auction houses of 1996 pennies that may have been struck with anomalies suggesting a composition mix-up. These theories revolve around trace elemental testing that suggests differences in the zinc and copper ratios compared to standard 1996 issues. If confirmed, such errors could explain the astronomical value of some of the highest-selling specimens. Authenticity and third-party grading also play a huge role in validating and enhancing the value of these error coins. Coins certified by leading grading agencies like PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, or NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, tend to carry much higher market value, especially when their labels highlight major errors such as double die obverse, off-center strike, or wrong planchet error. A 1996 penny that has been professionally authenticated and assigned a high grade, say MS67 or MS68 with a rare error, can easily fetch tens of thousands at auction. In fact, many of the reported $48000 sales or valuations of the 1996 penny stem from these slabbed examples with documented errors and pristine condition. Scarcity, condition, and demand all come together in the world of numismatics to determine a coin's value, and the 1996 penny seems to sit at the sweet spot of these criteria. Only a limited number of dramatic errors have been verified from that year, and many remain in circulation, meaning someone might unknowingly be carrying a small fortune in their change jar. Combine that with the fact that newer generations of collectors are increasingly fascinated by modern error coins, and you have a recipe for skyrocketing prices. Enthusiasts, collectors, and even casual hobbyists are now combing through their spare change and inherited coin collections hoping to stumble upon one of these elusive treasures. So, how do you find out if your 1996 penny is one of these valuable ones? First, take a close look with a magnifier. Check for any doubling in the text or Lincoln's image, look closely at the mint mark, especially if it's missing or doubled, and examine the coin's surface for cracks, blobs, or irregular raised lines. Weigh the coin if possible, since wrong planchet errors will show a different weight than the standard 2.5 grams for a modern penny. If anything looks unusual, consider submitting the coin to a reputable grading service for authentication. Even if your penny doesn't end up being a $48000 marvel, you'll gain valuable experience and knowledge in spotting coin errors and might be better equipped for future discoveries. There's something magical about the idea that a tiny, overlooked object like a penny can carry a hidden story of mechanical mishap, oversight, or material mix-up that transforms it into a prized collectible. The 1996 penny, in all its error-prone glory, reminds us that not everything valuable shines brightly from the start. Sometimes, value is hidden in the details, waiting to be discovered by a keen eye and curious mind. So keep hunting, stay sharp, and who knows? That humble penny in your palm might just be the next six-figure story we feature. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next treasure hunt. World of rare and valuable coins, where everyday pocket change can hide treasures worth thousands of dollars, and today, we're unveiling the story of one extraordinary cent that has taken the numismatic community by storm, the 2005 Lincoln penny from the United States, a coin that, while bearing the humble face value of just 1 cent, has in rare cases commanded jaw-dropping prices of up to $17,000 due to highly sought-after mint errors, rare die varieties, and elusive mint mark anomalies that have captured the attention of collectors, dealers, and hobbyists alike across the globe. So sit back and stay locked in, because what you're about to discover could make you take a second look at the spare change in your own wallet or piggy bank, and by the end of this video you might just be inspired to begin your own treasure hunt for one of these hidden gems. Now let's get into the incredible details of how a seemingly ordinary coin minted in Denver in the year 2005 can achieve such an extraordinary market value through a combination of factors that go far beyond its intended production standards. Beginning with the basics of the coin itself, this penny features the familiar profile of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, a design by Victor David Brenner that has graced the cent since 1909. With the reverse in 2005 still carrying the iconic Lincoln Memorial image before the change to the Union Shield in 2010, but despite its familiar appearance, the 2005 penny holds a deeper story in its microscopic flaws and production quirks, which can drastically set it apart from the billions of other pennies that circulated in the same year, because while the US Mint is known for its precision and consistency, no mechanical process is entirely immune to imperfections, and in the vast production runs of coins like the Lincoln cent, rare anomalies can and do occur, giving birth to a category of numismatic marvels known as error coins, which include striking errors, die breaks, off-center strikes, double dies, and other dramatic misprints that escape the mint's quality control and make their way into the hands of the public. And in the case of the 2005 Lincoln penny, certain rare errors have made select examples of this coin immensely valuable, including dramatic off-center strikes where the design is visibly misaligned due to the coin being improperly positioned during striking, with some examples missing up to 50% of the intended design, or double die obverses where details such as the date, mint mark, or lettering on the coin appear slightly duplicated due to a misalignment in the hubbing process, creating a ghost-like doubling effect that is especially noticeable under magnification and incredibly desirable among collectors. But even beyond these more visible and dramatic errors, certain 2005 pennies possess microscopic die varieties or subtle mint mark irregularities that can vastly elevate their desirability and value, such as repunched mint marks, RPMs, where the D for Denver was punched more than once into the die slightly out of alignment, or even the rare misplaced mint marks that appear off location or unusually shaped, adding to the coin's intrigue and demand. And in some cases, die cracks or die chips, tiny raised lines or blobs of metal that result from fractures in the die, can create shapes that collectors find especially desirable, like those resembling extra fingers, horns, or other unusual patterns, contributing to the coin's nickname appeal and cult-like popularity in collector circles. And while these errors are not always visible to the naked eye, when properly authenticated and graded by reputable coin grading services like PCGS or NGC, they can turn a common penny into a certified collectible worth thousands of dollars at auction or in private sales. And let's not forget about the condition of the coin itself, because in numismatics, quality matters immensely, with coins graded in mint state, MS, conditions, particularly MS 67 or higher, being significantly more valuable than circulated examples, especially when those pristine coins also feature one or more of the aforementioned errors, and in fact, high-grade examples of the 2005D Lincoln penny with major errors have been documented to sell for well over $10,000, with certain sales even exceeding $17,000 when rare attributes are combined, such as an off-center strike along with doubling and a high mint state grade, and this convergence of rarity, condition, and collector demand is what drives the price so astronomically higher than the coin's face value of a single cent, proving once again that numismatic value often lies hidden beneath the surface of ordinary-looking change. And if you're wondering how many such coins exist or whether you could find one yourself, the truth is that while these coins are rare, they are not impossible to find, and many collectors and treasure hunters have uncovered valuable specimens in circulation, coin rolls, old jars, and estate collections, meaning there's still a very real possibility that a 2005D penny with a dramatic or subtle error could be waiting to be discovered by someone with a sharp eye and a little knowledge, and that's part of the excitement that fuels this hobby, the idea that anyone, anywhere, could stumble upon a small copper-coated zinc disc that is worth a fortune due to a fluke in its production. So if you have a 2005D penny or come across one in the wild, it's worth inspecting it closely under magnification for signs of doubling, off-centering, unusual shapes, die breaks, or odd-looking mint marks, and if you suspect that your coin might be special, it's a good idea to consult a professional or send it in for grading, because authentication is critical in determining a coin's true value, especially when dealing with high-value error coins. And many stories exist of individuals unknowingly possessing rare error coins for years without realizing their worth, only to later discover that a coin they once overlooked could pay off a car loan, a semester of college tuition, or more. And that's the magic of numismatics, where history, craftsmanship, randomness, and human curiosity intersect in the palm of your hand. And the 2005D Lincoln cent is a perfect case study of how even modern coins can have immense collector value when errors, varieties, and condition align, and as collectors continue to search for these elusive error pennies, values are likely to remain strong, especially as new varieties are discovered and catalogued by numismatic experts. So don't underestimate the power of that small coin in your pocket, because with the right attributes, even a penny can be a prize, and that's exactly why the story of the 2005D penny is such a compelling one, reminding us that sometimes mistakes are not only valuable but worth thousands of times more than perfection. And with that in mind, stay curious, keep looking, and always examine your change. Who knows, you might just be the next person to discover a $17,000 cent. We dive deep into the fascinating world of coin collecting, and today we uncover the incredible story of the 2012 United States 1-cent penny, a coin with a face value of just 1 cent, yet with rare versions that have sold for up to $14,000 due to a variety of extraordinary mint errors, mistakes, and other unusual characteristics that have made it one of the most talked about modern Lincoln cents among collectors. This might sound unbelievable at first, but as we dig into the history, design, production process, and known errors, you'll see exactly why some of these small copper-plated zinc coins have become true treasures in the world of numismatics. The 2012 Lincoln penny features the familiar Union Shield reverse design that was first introduced in 2010 to replace the bicentennial designs used in 2009, and on the obverse, it still bears the classic image of President Abraham Lincoln, a portrait first introduced in 1909 to mark the centennial of his birth. The reverse design, created by artist Lyndall Bass and sculptor Joseph Menna, symbolizes the preservation of the United States as a single unified country, with the shield representing strength and unity, and a single scroll across it inscribed with 1 cent. At first glance, the 2012 penny seems like a perfectly ordinary modern coin with billions minted for everyday circulation, and in fact, over 5.8 billion 2012 pennies were struck between the Philadelphia and Denver mints, making the average version of this coin worth only its face value. However, the true excitement begins when we start looking at the rare errors, especially those related to double dies, off-center strikes, die cracks, misaligned dies, and perhaps most significantly, missing or mispunched mint marks, all of which contribute to the astronomical rise in value for some rare specimens of this coin. Among the most famous errors discovered in the 2012 penny are the double die obverse (DDO) varieties, where the doubling can be seen in the inscriptions such as "O in God we trust," "Liberty," and the date 2012. When this doubling is sharp and dramatic, it is often easily spotted even with the naked eye or a basic magnifying glass, and coins with strong doubling have fetched several $1,000s at auctions due to their scarcity and appeal among collectors. One specific DDO variety from the Philadelphia Mint is known to show not only doubling on the date but also in the letters of Liberty, making it one of the most sought-after error coins from this year. Another category of valuable errors includes off-center strikes, where the coin is struck incorrectly due to misalignment of the planchette and the dies, leading to a portion of the design missing while still retaining enough detail to be identified as a 2012 penny. Off-center errors can range from slight to dramatic, and those with 50% or more off-center strikes while still showing the full date are especially desirable and have sold for over $$1000 depending on the degree and clarity of the error. Then there are die cracks and cuds, which result from damage or deterioration to the coin dies used during minting. These can manifest as raised lines, blobs, or cracks on the coin surface, particularly across the portrait of Lincoln or the shield on the reverse. In some rare cases, these die cracks intersect major design features, creating unusual and visually striking patterns that significantly increase the coin's numismatic value. Another very exciting and highly valuable error found in the 2012 penny series involves missing mint marks, especially those from the Denver Mint where coins typically carry a small D below the date. A few examples have been discovered where the mint mark was either not punched into the die properly or was entirely missing due to a variety of mechanical or human factors in the minting process. These no-mint mark Denver coins are rare because by 2012, mint marks were not hand-punched but rather included digitally in the master die, so a missing mint mark usually indicates a very unusual and significant error in die production. Some experts speculate that these coins might even have been struck using a transitional die or an improperly prepared master hub, which makes them extremely appealing to error specialists. Another major reason why some 2012 pennies are worth thousands of dollars is due to the so-called transitional errors, where leftover planchets from a previous year or denomination are accidentally used. While no confirmed 2012 transitional planchette errors have been widely documented yet, coin experts remain vigilant and believe that it's entirely possible that some coins could have been struck on foreign or older planchets, like those intended for a different alloy or size, and should such coins surface and be authenticated, they could be worth a fortune, possibly exceeding the current $14,000 record depending on rarity and collector interest. In addition to these highly visible minting mistakes, there are also examples of coins struck through grease-filled dies, where parts of the coin's design are missing or weakly struck due to debris or grease clogging the die. These errors can sometimes appear minor, but in cases where significant design elements like Lincoln's portrait or key parts of the shield are completely obscured, they can command a high premium from collectors seeking unusual strike anomalies. Another variety that adds to the value of some 2012 pennies includes coins struck on defective planchets, which might show lamination errors, clipped planchets, or improperly alloyed metal. A lamination error, for instance, happens when the outer layer of the coin begins to peel or flake due to impurities or bonding issues during the manufacturing process. While these errors are less common today than in earlier decades due to modern quality control, examples still emerge from high-volume production runs like those in 2012, and a dramatic lamination error on a 2012 penny in pristine condition could easily fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars at auction. Furthermore, some collectors specialize in what are known as variety coins, which include slight differences in design features due to die wear, re-engraving, or unintentional changes between die sets. While these differences might seem minor to the untrained eye, such as a slightly different positioning of the lettering or subtle variations in Lincoln's portrait, they can be of great interest to variety hunters, especially when officially recognized by grading services such as PCGS or NGC. It's also worth mentioning that the condition of the coin plays a crucial role in determining its value. A 2012 penny with a dramatic error in circulated condition might bring a few $100s, but the same coin in mint state condition, especially those graded MS65 or higher, could fetch thousands. Red designation, indicating a full original coppery red luster, can further enhance a coin's value, particularly for coins with sharp error features. Coins certified by reputable third-party grading companies carry more weight in the marketplace, and a coin with a known mint error, certified by PCGS as an MS67 red with a dramatic DDO or off-center strike, can be a major highlight in a collector's showcase. Many of these high-value coins are found not by dealers or experts, but by everyday people who take the time to examine their pocket change, sort through rolls from banks, or explore coin jars and old collections. The incredible value hidden within something as simple as a penny just goes to show how important it is to stay alert and knowledgeable, because the next valuable coin might be sitting right under your nose. In fact, one known example of a 2012 penny with a major off-center strike and partial collar error, graded and authenticated by a top grading service, sold for nearly $14,000 at auction due to its rarity, condition, and the dramatic visual impact of the error. The combination of modern production methods with occasional minting lapses, particularly during high-output years like 2012, continues to result in an intriguing mix of high-mintage coins peppered with extraordinarily valuable rarities. Whether you're a seasoned collector, a beginner curious about coin values, or just someone looking to potentially find a treasure in your spare change, the story of the 2012 1-cent penny is a reminder of how something seemingly insignificant can hold astonishing value when paired with rarity, error, and a little bit of luck. So, if you have any 2012 pennies lying around, now is the time to check them carefully for doubling, missing mint marks, off-center strikes, die cracks, lamination issues, or any unusual characteristics that might suggest an error or variety. You never know, your 1 cent could be the next one to turn heads at auction and fetch a price tens of thousands of times greater than its face value. Keep searching, keep collecting, and remember that even in the smallest details, great value can be found. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for more amazing discoveries in the world of coins.